Well, here we are, finally in my live room. It's finally getting used for its first proper recording. So we're recording some drums here today, which is the start of an album project that we're working on for a good friend of mine. All will be revealed in good time. But I wanted to talk to you how I've set this up. For one thing, I'm not using expensive microphones in here. I don't think there's a mic in here over £400, $400 if you like. The Aston that's up here, you'll see all these later, is the most expensive mic I've got in here. The rest, you know, but we're making the most of what we've got. So I want to show you guys that are on, you know, limited budgets. I'm on a limited budget. I'm, you know, just starting out with my studio here, so I'm trying to build it up, buying some mics in, you know, as I can afford them and what will work for me. So, but we'll go through all that. So I just wanted to show you around how I've set this up, let you hear some sound samples, and we'll kind of go on with this as the project progresses even, and I'll show you some bits and pieces. So we'll kind of stop there, and what I'll do is I'll go around the kit. I mean, I want to video and take some pictures of the kit myself, because we're going to have to do this over various different days and whatnot. So I want to have a picture of all the positions of all the microphones and know exactly where everything is anyway. But I thought it might be helpful for you guys to see what I'm doing. We'll go from there. So I hope you enjoy it. Right, so here we are with the kit. I mean, I guess let's start at the beginning. You're going to have to excuse me for the lighting. I will do my best, but it's not the brightest of rooms in here. I like to keep it moody, you know. But we'll do our best. Let's start with the snare drum. So what we have in here is just an SM57. Now, the one thing I will say, 57s don't have the tightest of patterns on them, so you can get a lot of bleed from the hi-hat. I've taken time to position this, and the actual rejection is quite fantastic. And if you can see how I positioned it in terms of the hi-hat, I've got rid of, you can pretty much not hear the hi-hat in there at all. I'll give you some examples of that later. Underneath, it's actually a Super Lux. I think it's supposed to be some kind of copy of another microphone, but basically it's a dynamic mic. But as you can see, the actual coil of the mic is facing that way. So it's just facing at the bottom of the snare. So it picks up next to no kick drum at all. So there's next to nothing coming from there. It's just what comes from the actual above straight into the diaphragm, which is fantastic. And I've just got that. It comes with this little, let's see if I can get the light on it properly. It actually comes with this little fastening that can connect on to different things. And you know, I just positioned the stand that the 57's on to fit this as well, and it works out perfect. So it's just kind of sitting under there doing its job. I don't mic the snare, the hi-hat, sorry. I never have, never will, don't feel the need, never have had the need. Whenever I have mic'd it, I've never used it. What I do is I use a small diaphragm condenser above here. Let me see if I go around. If the light's a little better, you can see. I use a small diaphragm condenser mic for my overheads. And I kind of mess around with the position. We've played around with the position and lowering them and raising them up to get the right amount of ride and the right amount of hi-hat coming on in the microphones and the overheads. And it works perfect, so no problems there. Now these are actually from a cheap drum mic set. They're a Super Lux, I think they're called. And they're great, love them. They sound good, they work well. If I'm doing live stuff, I don't worry about them getting thrown around, no problems. Same with the tom mics, they're from the same set. So I've got one on each tom. Again, taking some time to position them, angle them to reduce the amount of cymbal bleed that I get in there. The rejection is pretty good, so I'm pretty happy. Moving on down, the kick drum. we have an inside mic. I'll try and show you how that's sitting. I've kind of got it looking at the beater. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just sitting inside there and it's looking more or less at the beater. I think it's dropped down a little bit, but that's okay. It was sounding good. So that was the point with that one. And then I've just got this, it's a Behringer C3, I think, condenser on the outside, on the skin. Yeah, works great. It sounds good. What else have we got? We've got another little, it's a member of the microphone set that I was talking about, and I call it the Crotch Mic. I just point it in there, kind of at the snare drum. It picks up a bit of the kick, it picks up a bit of the snare, it picks up a bit of the whole kit, and then you squish the bejesus out of it with compression, and it just adds some magic. It just adds some manicness to the sound, which you'll hear later on in later stages when I let you hear some more kind of final mix downs of the stuff. Again, you get a little look at my other tom mic under there. As I said, there's nothing on the ride cymbal. Just a little trick I want to show you that sounds absolutely fantastic. He's got two cymbals on top of each other here. And just as an extra kind of using it as a ride or an extra kind of effect crash. I've never seen that done before, and I thought it was really clever. So yeah, really smart. I thought it was quite cool, and it's added some interesting effects to the whole proceedings. Now, room mics. Usually I have a pair of Audio-Technica, what are they now, 4033s that I put on my left and right here. I haven't got them with me today, they're down at the school. So I have these. They are TSMs, they're just, you know, Chinese condenser mics, set to Omni. Nothing special, just left and right room mics. I'll go behind to show you how far I am away. And then I've got my Ystad up here, fairly high up. I don't know if you can see. It's fairly high up in the air as my mono room mic. So if I go behind the room mics, you kind of maybe get an idea of distance. I don't know. But I'm probably, let me measure it out. 3 meters from the kick drum to these room mics. Now I'm not doing anything fancy like pointing anything at the ground or pointing them at the walls or anything. These work where they are. They sound great. So I'm quite happy with how that's sounding. So there's kind of an overall view of the kit. I have taken a little bit of time with my overheads, positioning wise, to get my snare and kick in the center as much as I can. It doesn't worry me too much all the time. As long as it's kind of roughly there, I don't mind too much. So then this whole mess gets connected here. So basically I've got some breakaway cables that find their way through the wall behind there somewhere, behind my bass cabinet and whatnot, and go into my patch bass, and then get patched through directly through to my mic preamps, and then into the audio interface and into the computer. So that's the kind of basic setup. I mean, it's nothing that anyone can't do. You know, it's not complicated. It hasn't cost me the absolute earth. Yes, it's not cheap. I mean, you need 16 ins. I've got a Focusrite Pro 40, which has 8 inputs. And then I've got an Octapre on top of that, which gives me a further 8. So I've got 16. And I can add, by linking via Firewire, my other Sapphire Pro 24, which will give me an extra 2 preamps and an extra couple of line ins as well, via Mixable. So I could have up to 24, 20 inputs if I need them. So, you know, it's not too bad for a little studio this size. I mean, who's ever going to need more than 20 ins with this? So I'll stop this here, and I'll then go through and show you some of the sounds, how it's come in to Reaper, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so what we'll do is I'll let you hear some of this. Let me just get my mixer up. I'm going to switch off all my effects, mute these two out, and I'll switch off the bass for now and let you hear what the drums are totally out of the box, just totally as they came in. Obviously there's a little bit of mixing and panning, etc., but that's it. So let's have a listen to how they sound. So as you can hear, that's all I've done at the moment. It's just very basic EQ and compression. I'm going to bring in these two. I've got a reverb and my kind of old tone verb that you'll find in a previous video if you want to look it up. But just for the moment, it's just to give myself a little bit of spatial stuff going on. Okay, just to give things a bit of a going on. And if we hear this with some bass in it, so there's where we are at the moment. I mean, I don't really want to let you hear too much more, but I hope this has been useful. I hope it's helpful, and I hope to see you again in the next episode of what will be the carry-on of this album in the making. Thanks for joining me guys, and I'll see you soon.